Hello everyone, this is Joseph, and I'm going to share with you guys my 5 favorite things about The Last of Us. Normally, I would also share my 5 least favorite things about the game too, but I actually enjoyed this game so much that I did not have 5 things to talk about. Fair warning, this video does contain spoilers, and this list is based off my opinion, so my opinion may be different than yours. But let's get started. In no defining order, number 1, loot. I would like to point out that I love open world games full of exploration and fun things to find. Although this game is linear, it makes up for it with vastly open areas to explore. Supplies are limited and every piece counts. Some may argue that it is a little unrealistic that enemies drop so little ammo, but we'll discuss this later in the video. The game rewards you for exploration, such as locating supplies you can find to craft weapons such as stick grenades and even more importantly, first aid. You can also find pills for Joel to grow physically stronger throughout the journey, as well as finding gears to upgrade your weapons. Naughty Dog also included hidden collectibles, such as artifacts, firefly pendants, and training manuals. Also, if you missed any loot, you can replay the chapters, and the game tracks how many collectibles you've obtained. Number 2, the combat. The main aspect I liked about the combat the most is the numerous ways about defeating your opponent. Let's start with my favorite, the sneaking technique. Sneaking requires patience. You must duck and cover, you can listen to your opponent to pinpoint their location. You must pick the perfect opportunity to strike. Just because you can quietly take down an opponent does not mean it's the smartest move. You must take out your opponent where other enemies will not notice you. If you're not a fan of sneaking around, the other technique is bulldozing through with your rifle or shotgun. This technique worked for me when I was in a rush or impatient, but I cannot imagine using this technique on a higher difficulty. Another strategy is the technical strategy. Joel learns to craft bombs, sticky bombs, and smoke bombs. Using bombs in the mix drastically saves an ammunition. I actually had an issue early on with the amount of ammo the enemies dropped. I was a little upset I defeated so many of them but they did not drop any ammo. I was thinking, why are multiple people shooting me, but once they're down I cannot pick up any of their ammo. The more I played, the more I realized the developers wanted us to treat every piece of ammo like it's your last. I had fun planning out how I can take out my enemies using the least amount of ammo as possible. I also loved the inclusion of melee weapons and was even more ecstatic that you can craft upgrades for stronger melee weapons too. The developers put a lot of work in the combat, and I would say it has paid off. Number 3, the visuals. Naughty Dog has mind-blowing visuals in the Uncharted series. This transferred to The Last of Us. I remember when the game first came out in the PlayStation 3, it received so much praise for how realistic the game looks. The people look phenomenal, the cities give off an apocalyptic feeling, the cutscenes are flawless, and the nature really draws you into the game. With it remastered on the PlayStation 4, I've got to say I'm impressed. With The Last of Us Part 2 around the corner, the visuals will continue to improve. Number 4, the companions. Throughout the journey, we are paired up with various companions. During the intro, we are paired with Joel's brother, Tommy, and we are discovering the breakout of the infection. 20 years later, Joel and Tess work as smugglers and need to smuggle Ellie out of the city. Tess does not make it, and eventually we need the assistance from Bill. And man, does Bill have one of those unique personalities. Joel mentions how he's not the most social person around. The Last of Us has an intense, dark theme a majority of the time, and the tone of voice, sarcasm, and sense of humor between Joel and Bill had me laughing at every interaction. The next companions we meet are Henry and Sam. I would argue that Henry and Sam's case is the most relatable to Joel and Ellie's, but in this case we have an older sibling in a parental role. It's nice to see Ellie interact with someone her age, and we witness a cheerful Ellie for the time being. Henry and Sam's demise is a tough one and a reminder of what kind of world that they're living in. The next companion is a reunion with Joel's brother, Tommy, our first companion. We don't know much about the family issues between Joel and Tommy, but it is heavily implied that they had a falling out. As they have their differences, Tommy eventually gives in to help Joel with this cause, something that us siblings in real life have to go through on a regular basis. The last companion, or should I say acquaintance, is David. His personality was caring and polite as we slowly catch on to his true intentions. This was by far my favorite arc as it staged Ellie's growth and independence. Number 5, Joel and Ellie's relationship. When we first partner up with Ellie, Joel sees her primarily as a job. We really don't know her drive or her past. He sees her as helpless. He refuses to give her a weapon and downright belittles her. He does not take her opinion in consideration and views her as a burden. But it did not take long to really grow on Ellie's personality. She is nice and genuine and wants to help any way she can. Slowly, as time progresses, Joel starts to open up to her. Ellie has proven herself and earns Joel's trust. She eventually receives a weapon to help on the battle during their adventure. In the winter season is her most significant arc. Joel went down and she does everything in her power to rescue him and keep him safe. This is the first time we get to control Ellie as a playable character. I loved the fact that Ellie and Joel have their subtle differences as playable characters. Ellie cannot upgrade her weapons or take pills to become physically stronger. She has smaller weapon choices, but she also has advantages too. She uses a knife compared to Joel's physical attacks such as punching. I also felt she was a tad quicker than Joel in tight spaces. Ellie proves that she is fully capable of handling herself, and bottom line, she's a survivor. We as players feel a strong father-daughter bond between the two. Joel rejects the idea of being a father figure for so long, but ultimately does what he can to help support her. We felt the tension when Ellie exclaims that she has been passed from person to person all of her life, and the only one who hasn't left her was Joel. In the end, Joel sacrifices everything to ensure Ellie's safety. He jeopardizes a possible cure of the infection in order to save her. And the ending? Joel lied to Ellie about what happened at the Fireflies. And at this time, all we can hope for is closure in The Last of Us Part 2.
I swear.
Those are my 5 favorite things about The Last of Us. Did you agree with my list? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and stay toasty.
Well, no matter how hard you try, I guess you can't escape your past.